Most of the police forces of the United Kingdom use a standardised set of ranks, with a slight variation in the most senior ranks for Greater London's Metropolitan Police Service and the City of London Police. Most of the British police ranks that exist today were chosen by Home Secretary Sir Robert Peel, the founder of the Metropolitan Police, enacted under the Metropolitan Police Act of 1829. The ranks at that time were deliberately chosen so that they did not correspond with military ranking, due to fears of a paramilitary force. Rank insignia, badges of rank, are usually worn on the epaulets. However, when in formal uniform, sergeants wear their rank insignia on their upper sleeves. When police tunics had closed collars, constables and sergeants did not wear epaulets but had their divisional call number on their collar. Sergeants wore their stripes on their upper sleeve. Inspectors and more senior ranks wore epaulets at a much earlier stage, although they once wore their rank insignia on their collars. Most forces no longer use divisional call numbers, and retain only the collar number and rank insignia. Senior officers usually wear distinguishing marks around the outer edge of the peaks of their caps. Normally this is a raised black band for inspectors and chief inspectors, a silver or gold band for superintendents and chief superintendents, and a row of silver or gold oak leaves for chief officers. Chief Constables, the Commissioner of the City of London Police, and all Commissioner ranks of the Metropolitan Police wear oak leaves on both the outer and inner edges of their peaks. Additionally, officers at or above the rank of Commander or Assistant Chief Constable wear gadget patches on the collars of their tunics. The gadget patches are patterned after those worn by general officers of the British Army and Royal Marines. The police versions, however, are of silver on black rather than gold on red, in keeping with the police uniform colours. The above ranks are used by all territorial forces in the United Kingdom, and the Specialist National Forces, the British Transport Police, Ministry of Defence Police, and Civil Nuclear Constabulary. Other specialist forces, and those outside of the United Kingdom, use the same general system, but often have fewer senior ranks. Chief Constable is the title of the head of each United Kingdom territorial police force except the Metropolitan Police and City of London Police, which are headed by commissioners. Ranks above Chief Superintendent are usually non-operational management roles, and are often referred to as chief officer ranks, but the longer phrase Chief Police Officer, or similar in legislation, is specifically a commissioner or chief constable, a senior police officer being their immediate deputy. The Commissioner of the Metropolitan Police is often considered to be the highest police rank within the United Kingdom, although in reality every Chief Constable and the two Commissioners are supreme over their own forces and are not answerable to any other officer. There is also the matter that a police officer of any rank only holds the office of Constable in any of the 3 UK national jurisdictions, in which he/she has been attested, thus implicitly limiting any general comparison or ranking to a chief police officer's home jurisdiction. Epaulets are normally black with white sewn-on or silver metal insignia, although high-visibility uniforms are often yellow with black insignia. Uniform insignia. The rank of an officer can be found in varying details of the uniform, such as headgear, sleeve patches and tunic collar details, although these details do not vary for every rank. Examples of variations: City of London Police. The City of London Police has fewer ranks above Chief Superintendent, Commander, Assistant Commissioner, Commissioner. The Commissioner of the City of London Police has the unique status of not holding the office of Constable, but is classed as a Justice of the Peace. This was the same for the Metropolitan Police until recent years. Sir Paul Condon was the last Commissioner of that force to have this status, along with his deputies. The Commissioner has the power to attest his own officers as constables without putting them before a local magistrate to do so, as happened in the Metropolitan Police. City of London Police insignia is gold where that of other forces is silver. For example, rank insignia and collar numbers on epaulets are gold, as are the bands and oak leaves on the caps of senior officers, and officers of or above the rank of commander wear gold on black gadget patches on the collars of their tunics. The City of London Police also have variations for some acting ranks such as sergeant and inspector. Acting sergeants wear their chevrons above their divisional letters, whilst acting inspectors are denoted by a crown in the place of their divisional letters, whilst keeping their collar number and chevrons. Royal Ulster Constabulary Police Service of Northern Ireland. The Royal Ulster Constabulary was headed by an Inspector General and had a different rank structure until June 1, 1970, when it fully adopted the rank system used elsewhere in the United Kingdom. The AUC has now been succeeded by the Police Service of Northern Ireland, which uses the same ranks, but has a different version of the rank insignia, with the star from the PSNI badge replacing the crown. Unusually, the star is worn below the pip by Chief Superintendents and by the Chief Constable, who wears both symbols above his tipstaffs. The PSNI has retained the AUC's distinctive inverted sergeant's chevrons. Isle of Man Constabulary. The Isle of Man Constabulary has fewer ranks above Superintendent, Deputy Chief Constable, Miscellaneous Constabularies. There are, in the United Kingdom, a number of miscellaneous constabularies. These are not operated, regulated or funded by the Home Office, although they are fully authorised establishments. In general they provide of the policing for ports, docks, tunnels, or other particular institutions. Although these forces tend to require high standards of training and accountability, which closely mirror those of the Home Office police forces, they are usually much smaller in terms of personnel, and therefore utilise fewer of the standard ranks. History of police ranks. All police forces have used a wide variety of ranks to meet their organisational needs, especially the Metropolitan Police Service. Ranks have been created, abolished, amalgamated and sometimes revived during the history of British policing. Defunct rank insignia. Powers. In law, every member of a police force is a constable whatever their actual rank, in the sense that, despite being a low-ranking or high-ranking officer, all have the same powers of arrest. The basic police powers of arrest and search of an ordinary constable are identical to those of a superintendent or chief constable. However, certain higher ranks are given administrative powers to authorise certain police actions. In England and Wales, these include the powers to authorise the continued detention of up to 24 hours of a person arrested for an offence and brought to a police station, authorise Section 18 PACE house searches, or extend the length of prisoner detention to 36 hours. Some authorities are matters of force or national or force policy and not subject to law, such as authorizing the use of tire deflation devices, and authorizing the use of safe controlled crashes of pursued vehicles, by trained traffic police officers. In relation to police officers of the Home Office or Territorial Police Forces of England and Wales, Section 30 of the Police Act 1996 states that a member of a police force shall have all the powers and privileges of a constable throughout England and Wales and the adjacent United Kingdom waters. Police officers do not need to be on duty to exercise their powers and can act off duty if circumstances require it. Officers from the police forces of Scotland and Northern Ireland and non-territorial special police forces have different jurisdictions. See List of police forces in the United Kingdom for a fuller description of jurisdictions. Detectives, officers holding ranks up to and including Chief Superintendent who are members of the Criminal Investigation Department or Special Branch have the prefix detective before their rank. Due to the nature of their duties, these officers generally wear plain clothes and so do not wear the corresponding rank insignia. However, they still operate within the same structure as their uniformed counterparts. It is a misconception often portrayed by the media that detective ranks are superior to those of uniformed officers. In the United Kingdom, this is not the case, and a detective sergeant has the same powers and authority as a uniformed sergeant. The detective prefix designates that the officer has a proven investigative ability and has received suitable training and passed related examinations, to conduct all manner of criminal investigations. Trainee, temporary and acting ranks, constables who are training to become detective constables sometimes bear the title trainee investigator or trainee detective constable. The prefix temporary before a rank denotes an officer who has been temporarily promoted to a rank, whilst the prefix acting denotes an officer who is performing the role of a higher rank than the one actually held. Temporary ranks are often used for set periods, whereas acting ranks, although sometimes held for extended periods, are often used for a very short time. Under Section 107 of the Police and Criminal Evidence Act 1984, Sergeants and chief inspectors may be designated to exercise the powers of an inspector or a superintendent respectively. Such a designation will generally accompany such an officer being given an acting rank, so for most operational purposes there is no difference between substantive, temporary and acting ranks at inspector and above. On the other hand, under Section 36 of that Act, only substantive sergeants may be appointed custody officers. Identification numbers: all officers have a unique identification number. These are usually referred to as shoulder or collar numbers, referring to the fact that they were once worn on the uniform collar and later on the epaulets by constables and sergeants. Uniformed officers in many forces still wear them on the epaulets, but other forces have badges or other ways of displaying their identification numbers. Kent Police, for instance, refers to its numbers as force numbers, and officers wear them on a Velcro tab on their stab vest or on a badge attached to their shirt or tunic. Officers in all forces of the rank of inspector or above do not usually wear their numbers. In most forces these identification numbers are simple numbers, with 1 to 5 digits. The Metropolitan Police, being a much bigger force, uses a different system: sergeant, borough code and 1 or 2 digits, constable, borough code and 3 digits, special constable, borough code and 4 digits, usually beginning with the number 5, PCSO, borough code and 4 digits, the first digit being a 7 or an 8. The borough code is a 2-letter code preceding collar numbers. Before the reorganization into boroughs, each division had a different code. A few other forces still use divisional codes. Special constables are volunteer police officers who have exactly the same powers as a regular officer, and wear the same uniform and are issued the same equipment. The roles of specials can vary greatly from force to force, though normally include working with local regular officers to provide an additional and heightened police presence on the streets and in the local community. They may also be requested to police particular events such as football matches and community events. In virtually all police forces, there are various grades of special constable which assist in the tasking and management of the constabulary. The ranks are management grades. Those holding them are not sergeants, or inspectors for the purposes of the law. Originally, specials held the same ranks and used the same rank insignia as regular officers, but there was a general shift to distinct terms such as area officer and divisional officer in the 1980s. However, recent national practice has been for most special constabularies to revert to the regular ranks, although only Merseyside Police and Wiltshire Police have reverted to regular rank insignia. Special constabulary epaulets frequently bear the letters SC to differentiate them from regular officers. Senior special constables wear the same markings on their cap peaks as equivalent regular ranks. Forces using regular rank insignia. Since 2000, the National Policing Improvement Agency has encouraged special constabularies to return to rank structures and epaulet insignia identical to their regular counterparts. Although most forces have now reverted to regular rank titles, only Merseyside Special Constabulary, later followed by Wiltshire Special Constabulary and the City of London Special Constabulary, have reverted to regular rank insignia. Forces using bars rank insignia. Other special constabularies use combinations of bars, half bars, pips, crowns, laurel wreaths, collar numbers, force crests and the SC identity to distinguish ranks. Police Community Support Officers. Police Community Support Officers in general do not have a rank system. Their epaulets simply bear the words Police Community Support Officer, and their shoulder number, or, in the Metropolitan Police, a borough identification code and shoulder number. South Yorkshire Police and Kent Police have PCSO supervisors. In South Yorkshire they wear a bar above the words Police Community Support Officer Supervisor, and the shoulder number. Traffic Wardens. Traffic wardens are administered by the police and exercise some police powers to control traffic or issue fixed penalty notices for traffic offences. Their epaulets bear their shoulder number and the words Traffic Warden. They are not to be confused with local authority civil enforcement officers who, under decriminalised parking enforcement, have powers to issue fixed penalty notices for breaches of parking laws on highways or in local authority car parks and compel the production of a disabled parking permit for inspection. References: AB Badges of Rank. Metropolitan Police Service. Retrieved December 1, 2011. AB Thames Valley Police, Uniformed Police Ranks, CNC ranks listed here on their website. Police Reform and Social Responsibility Act 2011, Stevenson is named new Met Police Chief, The Independent, Police Service of Northern Ireland, Badges of Rank.